Today we're bringing you a new Town Hall 16 war base that's built specifically for hard mode. For those of you who don't know what hard mode is, it is an option that you can do in friendly challenges or friendly wars to give you a tougher challenge to 3-star. And this base is built specifically for hard mode to make it as difficult as possible for you to get a 3-star attack. Now, let's break down the base. The base has a double poison tower setup, and this is really good when you've got damage spread throughout the base, because you're going to slow down the troops no matter where they're coming from through the high DPS areas of your base. But it isn't like a rage tower where you're forced to put all your defenses in a small clump. You'll notice the base has damage spread throughout it here, and the poison towers complement that nicely. The Eagle Artillery is in the very center of the base. It is super protected and very hard to get to. And the Monolith, on the other hand, is on the outside of the base, but it is surrounded by dead zones from every direction. So getting to it is really difficult, particularly from a pathing point of view. In terms of air spam attacks, the best entries are always going to be into these scatters that you see, but sweepers are stopping both of those entries. And notice how they cross over a little bit in the center of the base. So troops in the center of the base are going to be getting pushed around like a pinball. Now, if you want to avoid these sweepers, you can go through the Town Hall, but obviously that maximizes the Town Hall poison effect on your defense, and you're very happy to see that if the troops enter from there. Probably the most glaring weakness in this base is the fireball value. Now, the fireball is very popular both in regular and hard mode of the game, but you'll notice there is a Tesla farm at 12 o'clock to bait out the fireball. Not necessarily so the fireball targets the Teslas, but even if you get a successful fireball with the invises immediately, the warden will go down shortly after to all the damage in the area from the Teslas and also the skeleton traps and bombs. This base is also a nightmare to flame flinger. If you have a look here, there is essentially no flame flinger value unless you know the Tesla farm is at 11 o'clock, so already stopping one of the best siege machines in the game. And in terms of Root Riders, you're generally going to have to pop your Warden ability very quickly on the base because there is so much damage on the edge of the base, in particular the defensive heroes. So that means by the time you get to the core of the base, where the Multi-Infernos, Poison Towers, and Eagle are, your Warden ability, that being the Eternal Tome and the Healing Tome, will have worn off by then, and the troops are going to be extremely vulnerable. But don't just take my word for it, let's get into some live replays. And we're going to start off with a Super Witch Fireball attack, probably the strongest army in the game. And this right here is the Fireball I would go for. So I wouldn't go for any of the scatters as we talked about before. I would go for the Monolith. The Monolith is just a great target. You get rid of that dangerous defense that's inside the dead zone, so you don't have to worry about the pathing. And you get the Clan Castle down as well. But clearly something's going to go wrong with the attack here. And let's go find out. And what better player to find out than from Kingsman. Kingsman, obviously one of the best players in the world, has been for many years now. Fantastic player and a great personality as well. Coming in on Krispy. Now, if you want to see attacks from Krispy, he recently joined the Blueprint team. Then we'll link it above us. Hopefully right now the editor can add it in so you can see it. We did his attacks. He's using Fireball Mass Druid in Legends League and is currently resetting inside the top 20 of Legends League. So we have the Warden walk has ended after the successful fireball. And the Super Witches are coming in on the top side. We have the Siege Barracks and the Queen also setting an excellent funnel. And so far, everything's gone exactly to plan. So where is this attack going to fall apart? Well, I guess we will find out in the next 100 seconds. So the Super Witches coming in. The King is getting a little bit low, but so is the Warden. And the Warden goes down to that ground bow sniping across the base. And that's one of the downsides of the Warden AI some of the time. The King's Earthquake Boots and the Spiky Ball gets awesome value, but he goes down quickly. And look at this. On hard mode, the Super Witches and Druids just can't push through the cores of these bases. Even though there isn't rage towers, the troops are still going to go down. Now, there is still 2 witches up, but as soon as these druids go, there's not much they can do because there's still so much damage. This is what I like about this base. The damage is spread throughout it. I'm going to keep talking about it, and you're going to see why it's so good now, and it complements the poison towers perfectly. Now, the Royal Champion on the back end can sometimes be a savior for this attack and get you the 3-star, but not really since the balance changes come in and the Haste Violent Hog Puppet got the nerf that they they desperately needed. It was extremely strong, but not only that, in hard mode, obviously they are only at level 15 as common equipment. Now, if this was regular mode, obviously this probably would have been a 3-star. But also, this is Kingsman coming in. It doesn't matter what base you're running in regular mode, Kingsman will be getting a 3-star attack. So the fact that you can defend Kingsman at all is insane. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to be a full-blown defense. It is a time fail, but I don't care. If I could defend Kingsman, even if it was in hard mode, I would be very impressed with myself. And you can just see how this base perfectly complements the hard mode. I'm trying to figure out if this is a defense. Barely. A 99%. What about Rigatores? What can he do on this base? And starting off with the Queen ability, the Giant Arrow removes both sweepers, which is obviously a big problem. We've got those sweepers set up to stop this entry specifically, but there's not really much you can do to stop the Giant Arrow in this meta. It is super strong. Now, obviously in hard mode, it won't remove air defenses, but it's more than enough to get rid of sweepers. So Rigatores coming in with the Stone Slammer. No blimp here because look, it would be so far to get the blimp across the base, and you can actually see the Tornado Trap was at 6 o'clock. It just finished up now. So if Rigatores had used the blimp, this attack would have gone even worse. But look at this. The troops aren't setting a great funnel here. Because he had to put the Queen slightly offset for the Giant Arrow to get both the sweepers, she has not set a good funnel for the dragons at all. And look at the core of this base. It is very much alive. Now, Rigatores is running the Diggy here on the Royal Champion, which makes me think that he's going to be coming in with the Rocket Spear. So here comes the Royal Champion. Not popping the ability, so maybe not the Rocket Spear. We'll see in a second. Now, the Queen does finish off the Town Hall. Barely. This was very close to a 1-star defense, which obviously would have been insane. Royal Champion doing her best in the core of the base. If he's got the Rocket Spear, he would be popping it right about now. Maybe running the Haste Vial and Hog Puppet. Yeah, Haste Vial and the Hog... No. Was that the Seeking Shield and the Hog Puppet? Interesting combination to run. Doesn't get much value. To be fair, wouldn't have got the 3-star anyway. This was not particularly close at all. Base completely destroyed Rigatores' entry. Next up, we have E-Dragon, so another air spam army. Now, I know it's hard to see. Yet again, exact same Giant Arrow. Worth noting, there was a Tesla at 6 o'clock, so clearly Krispy here does move the Teslas around a little bit, which is something you should do as well, even if you copy this base link today. Maybe think about moving the Teslas around if you're worried about people having watched this video. Now, this entry for Grim here, it's looking, well, grim. Not to make a fun or anything, but it's not looking great. All the E-Dragons targeting the same building, and a couple of them have gone around the base, and you can see the blimp gets hard baited. This is what I talked about in the last attack, where Rigatores was actually smart to bring the Slammer, because the blimp would have gotten 0 value. The E-Dragons, look at them. They can't spread out. That Dead Zone did a great job of just bunching them all up. We have the Royal Champion with the Fox. Now, you can see here, completely separate issue. We are going to do a video on this later in the week, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, where the Fox is not very good with the Rocket Spear at all. You're actually better off running the Diggy with the Rocket Spear. The Diggy is going to be more valuable, and this is not only a defense, it's a big defense as well. In the 70%, never where you want to be at Town Hall 16, even in hard mode. Another Super Witch replay here, just in case you weren't convinced by the first one, just in case Kingsman wasn't enough of a name to show you that this base defends amazingly. We're coming in here with Super Witches, and look at that fireball value. And there's not really much you can do against fireballs like that at Town Halls, or at any Town Hall really. The invis spells are so handy to get the fireball deep into the base, and look at all the value removed. a multi-inferno, poison tower, scatter, multi-archer tower, the defensive queen as well, and if I'm not mistaken, a ricochet cannon and air defense too, but also a kick-ass funnel. But let's see where this attack's going to fall apart. So you've got the siege barracks and the queen setting a perfect funnel here. Honestly, the start of this attack could not have gone better at all. I'm going to be very interested to see where this goes wrong. I am seeing that the replay has 2 minutes left. Is this going to be a second time fail? Now look at this. The king ability goes super early here, and that's one of the downsides of bringing so many invis spells. You don't have as many freeze spells with the army, so it's much harder to keep your king alive, and your king is crucial here. Imagine if you pop the king ability right now. That would be awesome. Would open up the entire base, but also do damage to a lot of important buildings. So the king ability going off early is a huge plus. The warden has gone down yet again. The expo's doing a great job. Now the druids, they do too much single point healing, I agree, but the nerf to one less bounce has made a difference because your king and your warden are so much more susceptible to going down early because the druids, they only get the 3 bounces now, so that hits the super witches, all 3 of them. Then it might hit one big boy, but your warden and your king definitely vulnerable in this attack strategy. Queen is still on the outside of the base, have deployed the Royal Champion, but she's in a fair bit of trouble here. Pop the ability, Haste Vial and Hog Puppet. Interesting combination to be running. I still think the Rocket Spear is criminally underutilized. In saying that, you wouldn't normally use it for Super Witches. Now, the Town Hall looks like it's going to go down. Yep, unfortunately it does. Very hard to get a 1-star defense, particularly in a Pro Wars like this. But the Town Hall Poison effect is gonna go crazy, and would you look at that? It's not a big defense, but that doesn't matter. When it comes to esports, any defense is a big defense, and there you go. That's it for the base today. The base link will be down in the comments below. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask us, and we'll get back to you in the comments section. Now that we've given you an awesome base, what about the best attack strategies at Town Hall 16 after the balance changes? Well, we did a top 5 video showing you the hero equipment, pet combinations, army comps with the army links that you should be running to get 3 stars at Town Hall 16, and we're going to link that video on the left.